Hello, everyone. Bobby Jones here. And I know I'm not doing my usual thing during Anchor Watch, um, but something just broke publicly that I feel I need to address. So, the head of United States Southern Command has just abruptly stepped down. So, let me first explain what Southern Command is. United States Southern Command is the highest level of military command that oversees South America and the waters around it. So, we have NORTHCOM, where the United States is, and we have SOUTHCOM. And then we have EUCOM, CENTCOM is the Middle East, INDOPACOM, the Pacific. So the man in charge of SOUTHCOM is Admiral Albin Halsey. Admiral Halsey, career naval aviator, a man of impeccable character, a man who not only do I know personally, but when he was head of Navy Personnel Command, personally canceled my orders to retire and made me go be in charge of his ROTC unit where he came from. He's a graduate, a proud graduate of Morehouse College. And for those who don't know, that is the same school that produced Dr. Martin Luther King, Maynard Jackson, Spike Lee, Samuel L. Jackson. It's an all boys, historically black college university college. That's where he came from. And he just stepped down as a four-star admiral from having command of United States Southern Command. There have been multiple people who have confirmed this. The New York Times just broke the story. Now, for those who don't know, Southcom is what we call it for short, is where Venezuela is located. And in the past few months, President Trump, with the immediate and enthusiastic support of Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, has ordered various boats, small boats, to be eliminated, shot, blown up, destroyed, decimated, under the new term that they use as, quote, narco terrorism, unquote. Well, that's a new term, but most importantly, these operations, again, one that just happened here in the last couple of days, has killed a estimated 27 people. Now, on the surface, even if what the White House is saying is true, there are international laws that are being violated. But most importantly, there has been no proof from any of these sources, intelligence sources the government says they have, that proves that's exactly what they are. And even if that's the case, there's an international law process because these things are happening in international law. The rules of engagement to which the entire American military, um, operates on abroad, those things are not necessarily being followed in these operations, to put it bluntly. And so the question has been coming repeatedly. Well, what are the admirals and the generals going to do if they get unlawful orders? Well, you're seeing it. Admiral Halsey just sacrificed a 37-year distinguished career because he refuses to execute these orders, which I'm sure he thinks are illegal. Now, it is not a coincidence that Admiral Halsey, a Morehouse graduate, is a black man, a four-star black man in the United States Navy. You can count them literally on one hand. That's how few there are. So you had the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, another black man, Charles Q. Brown, fired. You have Admiral Halsey stepping down because he refuses to execute illegal orders. And if you look across the spectrum of flag officers, the highest ranking military generals and admirals, you're going to start to see people push back because at the end of the day, they know what's right and what's wrong. That is why when Pete Hegseth gave his little pep talk where he tried to basically admonish people who have literally spent centuries collectively defending this nation, they didn't say a damn word. Now, what's interesting to me is Hegseth and Trump have gone out of their way to fire minorities and women, specifically fire. But in this case, they didn't get a chance to fire Halsey. It looks like he stepped down voluntarily, which is a completely different optic, meaning I know what you're doing is wrong. I'm not doing it. When the New York Times asked both the Department of Defense and the White House for comment, they don't have one. That's another reason why I think this caught them off guard. He's dictating his stepping down and refusing to carry out these illegal orders. Ladies and gentlemen, I've heard many people ask, what's the military going to do? Why is the military following? Let me tell you something. The military will execute lawful orders. But just like in 2017, when President Trump asked General Milley to shoot protesters in the leg, and he looked at him like he had lost his damn mind. The military is not the problem. It's the people that you elected. That's the problem. The civilian leadership, that's the problem. Again, a not good, but great naval officer who spent damn near 2/3 of his life in uniform in defense of this nation, fighting all sorts of battles, both in the cockpit, at sea, and off. And in many respects, not like just because of his skin tone, showed you what integrity looks like when given orders that you don't agree with, that you know are wrong. There are many people that would just sit there and continue to do that as long as they kept power. But if you know who he is, and I got to know him, it wouldn't sit right with him, the type of man he is, the integrity that he has, the school that he matriculated from at Morehouse College. None of it would sit well. So I just want to point this out in real time as the White House is going to scramble to come up with some excuse as to why he stepped down. I don't need to wait. I already know because I know the man. I know the man. So America, if you're worried about if the military will do this, do that, do this, heck, as I'm having this, talking about this, Governor Pritzker in Illinois had convened a council of retired admirals and generals who are saying what was happening in the streets of America is dead wrong. And that America should never be desensitized to military troops walking down their streets. So again, America, it's not the military you need to be concerned about. Admiral Halsey had to make a decision. He made the decision, the right one. My question for you is, America, are you going to hold your politicians to the same standards that America's military has been holding itself to? 2017, we didn't shoot protesters, even though the president wanted us to. 2025, we're not going to continue. At least Admiral Halsey is not going to have his fleet under his command continue to shoot people without any proof of evidence, without any declaration of war, without any freaking allowance or permission given by the United States Congress, as President Trump should actually have. We have serious decisions, people, that we're going to have to make here moving forward. But I want to highlight in real time, this is what courage looks like. The Navy's motto is honor, courage, commitment. And Admiral Halsey, over the course of his career, has shown all three.